Hello everyone, and welcome to the Poop Factory. And so for today, we're going to be playing some Mario Kart 8 online. Let's do this. So today, I'm going to be explaining my channel a little bit better and give you a little better understanding of what's going to happen over my channel. So, first things first, this is mostly going to be a YouTube poop channel, but chances are that's probably not going to happen for quite a while until I get a better computer, because as you can see, I'm just using my bad Chromebook, which we'll have to do for now. But I don't want to just be a YouTube poop channel. I want to make more content. That's why I'm going to be doing stuff like this. And I'm playing as Peter Griffin, by the way. Why not? And also, I'm going to be talking about some professional wrestling, specifically WWE and AEW. And I guess with that out of the way, I guess we'll just play some online and do some commentary about what to expect on my channel, because guarantee most of you have not been reading any of my posts, which is completely fine. I'll give you a better understanding of what my channel is about and what the series of YouTube poops that I've created will be all about. So, the YouTube poops consist of Woody from Toy Story as the main character. This is going to be hard, trying to do commentary of all this. But they consist of Woody as the main character, going on a series of adventures with a bunch of other characters from all different types of media, which include video games, movies, TV shows, and maybe the occasional wrestler from both WWE and AEW. And it all culminates in a big finale with most of the characters, not everyone, there are some outliners, coming together in a big endgame fight, because we need that. Now, the series is not for kids, and I don't have a script, by the way. I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head. But the series is not for kids. It's meant to be funny, and I just want to make something that people would enjoy, whether that's YouTube poops or stuff like this. And I don't know, maybe I'll see you online, whoever's watching this, so you can get an idea of how good I am, because I have played this. Ooh, that was close. I guess next... what to talk about next? I guess since I don't expect anybody to read my post, I'll talk about a little bit of what this series, my YouTube poop series, is all about. So, first of all, my YouTube poop series is called YouTube Shit. For the very original name, I know. I really couldn't come up with anything else. But the series oh, what the? Okay, I'm not gonna win this, guys. Oh, wait, I'm in last. Hold on a second. Wait, can I at least... Okay. You know, 5th place will take it. I got nothing. So, the series starts... YouTube Shit, by the way. It starts with a zoom out on a poop emoji, surrounded Yeah, we'll do this one. Surrounded by other poop and little shards of rainbow bits everywhere. And boy, it looks like a big disaster happened. Followed by the opening narration from The Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, was a long time ago, even though it really wasn't that long ago. And it's talking about a guy who wanted to save YouTube, but his ambitions were too big, and his big admirations, aspirations, whatever, were his big downfall. And then, as the narration ends, it's a close-up on a poop emoji with a cowboy hat. And you're probably wondering how this all happened, and like the end of the narration says, well, I think it's time you've begun. Zoom in on the poop and cut to black. And then we jump back in time 6 years ago to June 21st, 2020. 1 year after Toy Story 4 came out. And it starts with Woody waking up and getting on the computer and seeing what the reviews for Toy Story 4 look like 1 year later. And he's scrolling and he's scrolling. And it's fairly positive for the most part. But then he sees a negative comment. A negative review. Talking about how the characters felt weak. The side characters weren't much of anything. The new characters were not good. Okay, that's only one comment, right? But then there's another bad review. And then another one, sandwiched in between some other positive reviews. And this continues for a while. And at the end, the decision is made that the reviews were rather mixed. And this does not sit well with Woody, who, at this point, is considered the happiest man ever. Not just Pixar, but in all of fiction. Because as the series goes on, it's massive. As there's a lot. And this pretty much breaks Woody, as he becomes a complete jerk. And he decides to take his anger out all on Buzz, who he pretty much makes his slave, basically. And Woody's personality is essentially the same as how he was in Toy Story 1. A jerk who wants to be on top. And Buzz's personality is that of how he was in Toy Story 4. An absolute idiot. And there are also the other toys that are not important. And then, after a while, Woody comes to the conclusion, hey, I'm going to make something entertaining and show that I can actually still produce good stuff. So he comes... Wait, I just realized I'm in first. Peak gameplay, by the way, for those of you that can actually see this. And he comes to the conclusion, I want to make something great. Famous Tony Khan word for all you wrestling fans out there. And AEW haters. I want to make something great! So he decides to make a show about himself practically pulling pranks on the other toys. And this lasts one episode, and then he realizes that this kind of sucks. By the way, that's the AEW cage match page, for those of you wondering what that is. You can tell this is unprofessional and low budget. But Woody makes that about himself pulling pranks on the other toys and nothing else. And it sucks, because there's literally nothing else going on. Wait, everybody's leaving. So then Woody, wanting to spice things up, decides to team up. He comes across a producer who is never named, never shown on camera, just an unknown user, a producer, and no one knows. It's me, by the way. I'm the producer that I'm not self-inserting myself in. But he talks to me, the producer, about making a show that's more interesting than just pulling pranks on the other toys. It'll still be about Woody, but there'll be more going on. So we come to the agreement of that, but the problem is, there's not really anything else going on. It's just Woody and the other toys. For a second, that is. And then, out comes, out of nowhere, a couple of YouTube poop legends. The Hotel Mario Bros, Mario and Gay Luigi, the Zelda CDI cast, Link, the King, and Morshu, along with Jack Skellington and Wallace and Gromit, all show up from out of nowhere and decide that they're going to settle here for whatever reason. The first of many characters that just show up and decide, okay, we're just going to stay here for 6 years, and decides, hey, why don't, if you want to make something interesting, you do something that incorporates these characters, like go on an adventure with these characters. And that's essentially what the series turns into. Woody, along with the other toys, going on random adventures with a bunch of characters who just randomly show up, sometimes never seen again, and just going on adventures and doing whatever. But eventually, that all has to come to an end. And so, in July of 2023, whenever Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, I don't remember when exactly, it had been running for 3 years at that point, and things had gotten pretty stale. It's the same thing. Woody goes on an adventure with random characters. Some of them never seen again. Some of them get their own specials about themselves. And most of them at this point had just dissolved into multiple get-togethers with the entire cast. So at that point, it had been considered, okay, we're just going to end this here. We're going to end right here, and the series will be canceled after this. Or not canceled, it'll just be ended. By the way, the typical, yep, I got Mario Karted. Did I come in last? No, I didn't. I got Mario Karted. Look at that. So it had been considered that the series would end after one season. 3 years of only one season. And at this point, Woody comes to the realization of something. That he's kind of gay for Buzz. And the only reason why he acts like a jerk to Buzz is to hide that from him. But as Woody is unaware that the series is about to end, tells that to Buzz, which results in Buzz getting killed, Woody going to court, and being public enemy number 1 of the entire world. And that's how the series ends. For about 6 months. Until we fast forward to January 31st, 2024. The time when Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 comes out. And this is all based on my real-life history with this series that I have created in my head for 5 years. And it's still going on to this day. But at this point, January 31st, 2024, there have been quite a few characters. I've discovered quite a few things since that time. I decided to quit and just clear my head of complete brain rot for a bit, until I decided to come back after seeing Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, and decided to come back to this for what was supposed to be a one-off. But this would not have... Woody would not have been the main character. It would instead be of Jesse in a post-apocalyptic world featuring brand new characters. Some will never be seen again, trying to restore everything and have things go back to normal and save the apocalypse. And it succeeds. And then that was supposed to be a one-off, but then I found more characters that I liked and wanted to create more YouTube poops of. So I said, alright, you know what, fuck it, we're back. And thus, Season 2 had begun. But in the story, Woody basically committed suicide because he got laughed at by everyone. But wait, what happened to Woody if he's pretty much killed? Well, plot convenience, he just comes back, along with all the other, pretty much the entire cast comes back to life, because I'm bad at writing and decided, you know what, we'll just bring just a plot device to bring everyone back. Lame, whatever. And Woody comes across me again and decides to create another season of YouTube shit. But this time, it would not be about Woody, it'd be about whoever the fuck I wanted it to be. So, this time around, there is no main character, it's just whoever. And that goes on for a while, for another 3 years, until at some point, this is when I get a little, I'm unsure of myself since I'm still creating this in my head, but at some point, the series decides to end. Well, it doesn't end, but Woody eventually comes to the realization that, wait a minute, I'm not getting featured as much in the series that I started. And then there is a tournament featuring most of the characters who have been around for the series. And the characters who are not in it are out looking for Spot from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, who is the big threat that everyone who has been worried about. And Woody takes part in this tournament and gets killed in the first round. But in the finale, Woody comes back as some big old whatever the fuck. Whatever it was supposed to be, it doesn't last long, because Woody eventually decides that he's had enough of this and decides to just take his ball and go home. And practically cancels the series, and we never got to figure out who the winner of this tournament would be. And once again becoming public enemy number 1, and this pisses off all the characters who were involved in this series, because it pretty much kills off all of their paycheck that they've been getting. So Woody is pretty pissed at himself, pissed that nothing's going his way, until he comes across Kermit the Frog, who has been around for the entire series of Season 2 as co-producer, and now that he's without a job, he's pretty much screwed. Woody and Kermit come to the realization that they're both kind of screwed, for those of you who are aware of what's going on with the Muppets recently. And Kermit essentially realizes, wait a minute, I'm just trying to cling on to relevancy by hanging on to all of these guys. And they, along with Bugs Bunny, who's also here, decide that they want to make something great. But they don't know what exactly to make. Until they come across, or they meet Earthworm Jim, who has been seen before, not by any of the main characters, but has been seen before, who warns these three, Woody, Kermit, and Bugs, that a big threat is coming, and the only way to stop this evil threat is with Woody. So Woody, hearing this, thinks he lights a fire in him. He is all fired up for this big thing that he's allegedly supposed to be a part of, and assumes that he needs to be the savior of, and decides to rally up everyone to come together to stop whatever's coming. But of course, since everyone's still pissed at him, they decide not to. So Woody decides that they're gonna go alone. And throughout this entire time, Woody's saying to himself, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to be the one to save the day. Even though he has no idea what he's doing, or what he's getting into. And they come across, and the big thing that Woody is needed for is a big fight with all of the villains of the series, including the big bad main villain. And who is the main villain, you ask? Why, it's the smiling emoji from the Emoji Movie of all things, who had been seen at the very end of the season 1 finale, but makes several appearances in season 2, essentially creating a robot army from all different kinds of media, all different types of robotic characters. But the biggest one is the Titan Dweevil from Pikmin 2. The final boss of Pikmin 2 is the big monster that the smiling emoji was creating. And this thing is the size of a kaiju. It's huge. Why is the smiling emoji doing this? Because, just like Woody, she's not a fan of everyone showing up, and essentially wants to rid the world of all the shit that is going on. And hold on, again, I don't have a script here. I'm trying to. This is all off the top of my head. So I'm in first. Let's see. It wants to get rid of everyone and create an emoji factory with real life emojis, because she's the only actual live emoji. But is unaware that the Titan Dweevil has the power to actually destroy the entire world. And Woody has no idea about this. Uh-oh. Wait, no. Oh, no. Damn it. But when all hope is lost, out comes Mr. Incredible to save Woody from a big blast. And then here comes Doctor Strange, who opens a portal with all the other Pixar protagonists. And then opens a big one. And out from the portal steps the big characters throughout the entire series. All step in. stand there, all side by side, one by one, preparing for the big battle with all the villains of the series. And then we get the big fight with all the characters. And the good guys look to have the fight won until the Titan Dweevil actually decides to step in, because the smiling emoji decided to have the Titan Dweevil just stand there, look intimidating, until it actually does things intimidating, and proceed to kill almost everyone, including Wallace, who is the most powerful character in the series, the Sith Lord. I know. Gee, where have I heard that before? Hour of Poop, my big inspiration for why I created YouTube shit. I'm not claiming originality. All the credit goes to YouTube Poop, which I haven't said, by the way. My big inspiration for this is Hour of Poop. And shit like that is an example. Wallace as a Sith Lord, as Emperor Palpatine. But even Emperor Wallace is not enough to defeat the Titan Dweevil, which kills him. And when all hope is lost, Woody sees a little bud hanging out. And he plucks it. And it's a Pikmin. And then there's another one. And it's a yellow Pikmin. And then another one. And then it's a blue Pikmin. And then another one. And it's a red Pikmin again. And eventually it starts plucking all of them a lot at the same time, multiple times, to combat the Titan Dweevil. And it strips the Titan Dweevil of all of its power, preparing for one big final blast. But the blast gets blocked by all the characters coming back as ghosts to cause a big enough distraction for Kermit the Frog to deliver the final blow, not only for... Okay, goddammit. I'm getting Mario Karted. To save the day for not only everyone that's all the characters of the series, but also dedicating it to Jim Hurd, the late great Jim Hurd. And in the process, the smiling emoji and the Titan Dweevil have been defeated, and I got absolutely Mario Karted. But during all of this, unfortunately, Bugs Bunny had been severely injured, and there's no saving him. So just like in Space Jam 2, that's all, folks, and Bugs dies, and all the characters are sad. But, of course, we have to have the big Hollywood ending, so Bugs' spirit creates infinite happiness for everyone. He creates Rainbow Road, which is filled with tons of happiness for all the characters. They all celebrate. Except for Woody, who throughout this entire fight had been completely useless and not done a single thing. Well, that was pointless. And this entire time he'd been saying, I have to do this, I have to do this. But then when he finally sees what he's been told to do, he realizes he can't do anything as opposed to all these other characters. And the message, I'm putting a message in a YouTube poop. The message of this is that sometimes the world does not revolve around you. Because Woody, at this point, still believes he's the hottest thing since the Spice Girls. And at the end, he realizes, I can't do this, and he lets the other characters do everything for him, and just is completely sad because Buzz is gone. He's got nothing left. The other toys, aside from Bo Peep, are nowhere to be seen. He's got nothing. And he just wishes that Buzz was there. But, by some miracle, there is Buzz! Because, back in the Season 1 finale, it's a long story that involved the wishing star from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Woody attempted his wish to be to bring Buzz back from the dead, who was dead, but it was denied by the smiling emoji, who destroyed it, preventing anyone from making a wish. So it all comes back so everything comes full circle in the finale, basically. And there is the Buzz, who comes back, and they, along with Kermit, walk through Rainbow Road, and there's everybody, all happy, smile. It looks like the happiest place on Earth. Just having fun. And once they get to the end, Kermit sings the Rainbow Connection. And he sings, the lyrics. And then, at the very end... Okay, I'm getting Mario Karted here again. By the way, I hope you all are enjoying the extreme... Did I come in last? Hold on. Okay, at least I didn't come in last. I hope you all are enjoying the very wonderful gameplay on my extremely crappy Chromebook. Yeah, why not? So it sings the Rainbow Connection, and just like the 2011 Muppets movie, everyone sings in at the exact same part as that movie. And then, out of nowhere, it starts raining shit. Poop emojis fall on everyone. And Woody and Buzz are totally happy if this is their end, because at least they'll be together for infinity and beyond. And the last thing you see is a poop emoji hovering the entire screen. But there is a secret actual finale that shows that that Woody and Buzz actually survived it. They survived getting covered in poop, and they walk through, they see all the carnage, but nobody's there. And it's unknown what happened to everybody else. But it gives off vibes that everyone might have survived, and they just left town. The place has become a ghost town. So Woody and Buzz go home to find the other toys who were just apparently sitting at home deciding not to go help out in the big fight. We're just there, and they're happy to see Woody and Buzz alive. And Buzz says, "What do we do now?" And they look, and Woody smiles and says, "I have an idea." And the idea in question is Toy Story 5. So what I'm saying is the timeline is 1 year after Toy Story 4 to sometime before Toy Story 5 comes out. And that's basically all the highlights of the series. The big major events. All starring yours favorite, yours truly, Sheriff Woody Cowboy Doll. And I think this is going to be the last game. We'll wrap this up. Now, I can't assure you when I'm actually going to start creating YouTube poops, but it's probably not going to be for a while, so for a while, you're just going to see this, the Online Races with Donkey Kong is what I'm going to call it. And this is episode 1. And I'm officially a YouTuber now. I hope you all enjoy this. And, let's hope I come in a good place. Nope. Wait a minute. Wait a minute! Wait! Yes! Yes! Wait! We had to do it first! Yes! 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 Perfect! Oh, what a great way to end this off. Alright, well, I don't know when I'll be uploading again, but, see you guys next time.